Let's recap a little before we move on to spermatogenesis. Right, what have we learned in our previous video? Very good. We have learned about the topic called gametogenesis. And what did gametogenesis mean? Very good. It was a process. And what happened during the process? Yes, gametogenesis is a process where gametes were formed. Yes, and where were the gametes formed? Exactly, the gametes were formed inside the gonads of the male and the female. Gonads are sex organs. What is the male gonad known as? Very good, the testes. And what is the female gonad known as? Yes, the ovaries. Now, these gametes that are formed during gametogenesis, children, are all haploid, meaning they are carrying only half the number of chromosomes in them. Okay, so the sperm cells and the egg cells are all haploid. Any gamete, any sex cell, right, are haploid. So the sperm cell carries 23 chromosomes and he is coming from the paternal side or from dad, and the ova are haploid, carrying only 23 chromosomes from the maternal side or from the mother. So we must remember that in humans, cells are all diploid and they have 23 pairs of chromosomes, right? But the human sex cells or the gametes, like the egg cell and the sperm cells, they only contain a single set of chromosomes and they are therefore known as haploid. So when gametogenesis occurs inside the testes, it is known as spermatogenesis. What is spermatogenesis? Spermatogenesis is the production of sperm cells. Where is it taking place? It is taking place in the male gonads, which are the testes. When gametogenesis takes place inside the ovaries of the female, we call that oogenesis. What is oogenesis? Oogenesis is the production of a mature ovum, right, where inside the female gonads, which are her ovaries. Now, we must remember, children, that both these processes, both spermatogenesis and oogenesis, need meiosis in order to take place. Why? Because remember, meiosis leads to the formation of gametes or sex cells. Meiosis must take place in order to change the 46 chromosomes into 23 in the gametes or the sex cells. Remember, the gametes need to end up only having 23 chromosomes. They have to be haploid. So in order to receive only half the number of chromosomes, meiosis needs to occur. So the sperm cells and the ova are all haploid. They are the gametes, and we know that in humans, all gametes have to be haploid. Okay? But what happens after fertilization? After the egg cell and the sperm cell fuse together? What's going to happen? Yes, a zygote is going to be formed. Now, zygotes, children, are diploid, right? They are 2N, they are diploid, they carry a whole full set of chromosomes, which is 46, or we can say 23 pairs. How did the zygote end up being diploid? Well, during fertilization, a haploid sperm fused with a haploid egg cell to form a diploid zygote. And that is how our zygote ended up having 46 chromosomes, a full set of chromosomes, which we refer to as diploid or 2N. Bear in mind, children, that both the testes and the ovaries, they are both lined with a kind of cell called the germinal epithelium cells. Why am I explaining this to you? Spermatogenesis is a process by which the sperm is going to be produced, and oogenesis is a process whereby the ova are going to be produced. But these sperms and these eggs that are going to be produced will be produced from the germinal epithelium of the testes and from the germinal epithelium of the ovaries. So, remember, the germinal epithelium cells play a role when we speak about spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Welcome to spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis refers to the process by which spermatozoa are produced from the germinal epithelium of the testes. It happens as follows. So when you are going to start explaining spermatogenesis, you will start with step 1. What happens? Right. Now children, all the spermatogonia that are sitting in the sperm tubules are all diploid, right? Each of the spermatogonia contain 46 chromosomes. They are all diploid. Now what's going to happen is that these spermatogonia sitting in the sperm tubules are going to undergo mitosis. And when this happens, they are going to be forming even more spermatogonia. Now what's going to happen is that the spermatogonia are going to start becoming mature, turning into primary spermatocytes. Now these primary spermatocytes are still diploid. Each of them are still containing 46 chromosomes. The next step, these primary spermatocytes are going to undergo the first stage of meiosis, or we can call it meiosis 1. And when this happens, they form 2 secondary spermatocytes. Now what process took place, children? Meiosis. And you know that meiosis is a reduction division, right? When meiosis takes place, the number of chromosomes are going to halve. And these secondary spermatocytes now will contain 23 chromosomes. Now these secondary spermatocytes will continue now, and they will undergo the second stage of meiosis, forming 4 round spermatids. Now these spermatids, right, are immature and must still develop into haploid sperms, right? They are just a step away. So what happens now? So these spermatids that have formed are still haploid, each containing 23 chromosomes. So when the spermatids become more mature, they turn into sperm cells. And the sperm matures where? Yes, inside the epididymis. And when the sperms are mature, they now have tails. Can you see? And these tails will allow them to swim up to the ovary so that they can fertilize an ovum. Let's look at our steps. Step 1, the spermatogonia in the testes are all diploid, meaning each of them have 46 chromosomes. Step 2, the spermatogonia now will undergo mitosis. And when mitosis takes place, even more spermatogonia are going to be formed. Step 3, these spermatogonia now become mature. And when they mature, they form primary spermatocytes. These primary spermatocytes are still diploid, 2N, each containing 46 chromosomes. Step 4. These primary spermatocytes now will undergo meiosis 1, forming 2 secondary spermatocytes. And what happened, children? Meiosis took place. So what did meiosis do? Meiosis halved the number of chromosomes, turning the primary spermatocytes now, which were diploid, into 2 secondary spermatocytes, which are now haploid. Step 5. These secondary spermatocytes undergo meiosis 2, forming 4 spermatids. And what process took place? Meiosis, and the spermatids are also now haploid, carrying only 23 chromosomes. Step 6. These spermatids are going to mature inside the epididymis, developing then into haploid spermatozoa or sperms. This process takes about 72 days to occur.